Mr. Henry Doty, District B.
Here.
Mr. James Green, District C.
Here.
Mr. Derek Green, District D. And Mr. Howard Monk, District E.
Here.
Four present, we have a quorum.
Could you announce the time, please?
It is now 5:55 PM.
Please stand for the invocation and the pledge, please. He's going with the friend, so. Council Locke, could you lead us in prayer, please?
Thank you once again, O Heavenly Father, for allowing your handmaid servant to be in this meeting. We hope that things that we do will be development of the city of Bastrop. These and other blessings we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is standing, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment as it relates to the matter on the agenda this time.
Sales tax district. This is the sales tax district.
You know. It's right.
No, sorry, no, so. That's the first one, we did the hearing first one. You want to go? You don't want that? No.
Is anybody? All right. Approve the resolution 26-2135.
This would be a call for. This resolution is 26-2135. Mr. Smith, I believe, has passed.
I just got one copy. Just for the official one to sign.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all want a copy?
Great. We can pause for a moment. I'll come make some comments.
I have an issue.
I don't think they're.
No, you don't have to.
We could be at ease for a moment.
To the program team.
Yeah. That's it.
I was trying to get that. I didn't have one. Make a copy.
You know, wait till you get back.
No, I think we can move forward. Before I get into my presentation, members, again, Mr. Chairman, Madam Pro Tem members, Ricky Smith, Office of the Mayor. This is consideration of the sales tax district number 1 budget for the FY 2026-27 budget. Before I give my presentation and before the council take action, we have a representative from the engineering office to give an update on the capital outlay projects that are currently ongoing. That is in this fiscal year and next fiscal year. So Mr. Fisher is present for vote.
I'm Chad Fisher. I'm a representative for the city engineer, Volker. I'm just gonna kind of go through what kind of projects we're working on right now and maybe go over a couple that are coming soon. Sewer plant project, of course, has been bid. Aspen Construction is probably, I believe they've already started. But in that DRA grant, there was some extra money. That money is going to be used just for that sewer plant. So if there's anything left after change orders at the end and anything that that they need at the plant. Of course, it has to get permission from DRA. Maybe adding something, some other pumps or whatever, but they're gonna replace 4 sewer pumps and one of the arms on the clarifier. And so, we have a on-staff inspector that's gonna be there every day that they're working. So, as we get the estimates come in, pay apps will, clarify and make sure everything's good on that. So, we all applied for 2 capital outlay projects. Some more work on the sewer plant, as well as some work at the community center. As of right now, we do not have any active LCDBG projects. We're still trying to get in contact with Robbie Waxman, which is the consultant that puts in for all that for us. I'm gonna leave McPhee Street to the end, so if you got questions, but Morehouse Memorial Airport, we have a project for the drainage around the terminal building. That project is done. We have our engineer that designed it has retired, so another engineer is actually checking it before he signs everything. There will be no money coming out of the budget. That is a 90% FAA reimbursement and a 10% state reimbursement. Usually, we try to get the reimbursement before it comes out of the general fund. I know in the past projects for the runway that it didn't fall like that because we couldn't get the money fast enough from the FAA. So prior to Mr. Jake retiring, he had come to us about possible projects on Highland Avenue, fixing a sidewalk and some drainage that went from Highland all the way to Oakdale Avenue. It's going through the backyards of some of the owners there. And I believe there's some, we had some flooding in a house close by over there. This would take care of that. There's a lot of corrugated wood in the ground that has kind of collapsed on itself. So the water is just building up in the yard instead of trying to go down the channel. So that's on it. I believe we do have a cost estimate the mayor has for y'all at some point on the Gemini area, the easement behind those houses, Cooper Lake and Gemini. We had our annual CIP meeting, capital improvement plan meeting for the airport, May 21st, and nothing has changed on that. We have to do a draft CIP for the 6 years. That will come to y'all probably next month just to look at. We'll send it off to FAA by September the 15th, and they'll look at it, revise it if they need to. You will not have to do anything on that. It's all paperwork for us for estimates and whatever. The mayor will have to sign once we get ready to send in the final, and then y'all have to put a resolution together for that CIP. There again, there's no money. Everything on there is going to be state funded or FAA funded fully. So no money out from y'all. McPhee Street Bridge. Again, the designer retired. Engineer is looking it over one more time, but we've had some issues where we had to go to the state to make sure of the water that's coming through it. It will no longer be a bridge. It's going to be 2 10-foot pipes. And so that in general, we don't have to worry about getting it rated. We have to get it rated once. And then we'll have to, the parish actually inspects every structure for y'all that you own. I believe there's only 4 in the city that y'all own. So we'll do what they call a rating on it to see how much weight it'll hold. But we're going to do 2 10-foot pipes, 100-foot long. There'll be guardrail back on it, but you won't have to do anything. We're going to put riprap on it, so you won't have to mow it, you have to spray it, stuff like that. But for public works, they will need to get in there and keep that channel clean, because the channel is very bad about having trees fall in it, stuff like that. And that's not good for a bridge or pipes. So, so I know that the last little flood we had at the railroad track bridge, that little channel that goes right there, that is actually the channel from the same channel that McPhee Street Bridge is over. So when that water backs up in there, there's nothing we can do how far it gets back, because if it blocks that part. So the only issue that we have going forward is everything that you have drainage wise has to go somewhere, and it has to go to the parish. So if we need to, help you get into talks with the jury about cleaning out downstream, because whatever we do for y'all, our plans and stuff like that, if they do not clean out downstream, it's still gonna back up. Now, it may hold more water for y'all to detain it, to get it away from you for a little bit longer, but at some point, it's gonna back up. And there's nothing that the city can do unless the parish goes out there and tries to clean stuff out. Yes, sir.
Well, I just want to ask a question.
Basically, that's kind of what all I have, project wise going on. I know there's those 2 drainage projects that I've walked. I think we're done with all of the city streets. The LCDVG streets are finished. So right now, the only thing we have ongoing construction is the sewer plant. And the only thing that we're gonna need from the council, and I think I just confirmed this with Mr. Ricky here, is there's no minutes approving the bidding or advertising for McPhee Street. It was on an agenda in June of 25 in the Self District agenda, but there are no minutes on there. So we do know the funds are there. You approved that budget for this to happen for the last 2 years. And that's not a problem, but we do need to approve to go to bid.
What date? What date you said?
Yeah, I want to say the agenda was the special meeting 6/12 of 25. There's minutes for the regular session of that, but there's no minutes for the special tax district number 1 meeting. So if you can find it, great. If not, I'm gonna need the council's approval before we go out for advertisement. That's just to cover y'all going forward. I mean, I know you talked about it. I've talked to Mr. Doty many times. But we've had some issues trying to get some material. It's not available. Contractors have not been available. That's kind of why it's kind of sit on the back burner. We were getting one bidder, one contractor at a time, and you don't want that. That's $200,000 that you could save if we get 3 bidders,
Right.
because they're fighting for the job. If we get one bidder and I send it off to get estimates, for so that we could do it as a quote, it come back well over 250. And he wouldn't give me the number, but he said it's well over 250. He actually asked us to change the pipe type from tank cars, which are real big steel, to go into corrugated metal because they're having trouble getting tank cars and having what they say is they flex when you cut the ends off of them. It'd be different if we were just using one, but we're having to weld 2 together. So when you weld 2 50-footers together, trying to keep them straight, the labor goes up. It would have been fine to stick 2 in the ground if we didn't have to widen it, but we have to widen it because the road has to go, the slope on the sides have to be a certain slope. So he asked us to change some pipe type, and we can do that. And pipes are readily available. It will be corrugated metal, so big pipes that you see with the corrugations in them. But that's it. That's all I have, Mr. Lott. So if you got questions. So the bridge I have not been by Camille in a long time. I used to live on Abraham Street years ago. So, okay, so right there on Camille going up towards A.C. Adams, right there in the bottom. So y'all own that as well?
The city and the portion.
Okay, so I have not seen it. But the only one that we've heard about that needs to be repaired inside the city has been Cleveland Street, and we've repaired that a couple times, and McPhee Street. So I've not heard anything about the Canal Street.
I'm just thinking that that be consideration, be on consideration for a project. I know we had said this, right?
I mean, I will go look. I don't have a problem looking at it. Mayor, if you'll send me an email, I'll definitely go look at Canal Street.
What we got is, the parish, at least like you said, to the parish digging their stuff out. What it is, it's nothing wrong with the bridge.
Right.
It's, Councilman Locke talking about the drainage. It can flood it out and then after a while, it'll drain on out.
Right.
So it's in the parish what's causing it to bag up. It's not going out fast enough.
And it goes back to the.
Yeah. So if any kind of way you all can get together with the police jury and they, engineers or something, see, work something up so we can get something to the state.
I can try that.
And
Send me an email stating that, hey, you have permission to contact the parish on your behalf on that area, and we'll be glad to do it. That's not a
we
problem.
probably have to do it throughout, wherever it's draining out, wherever our drains are leading to the parish all the way around the city.
And it is, I can't speak for their budget. I just know that they're kind of like us when it comes to accepting money from the state. You accept money from the state and you trying to get easements through properties, then it becomes I gotta write legals. Not I per se, we have to have title research on everything. But anything that y'all do with city money, as long as you get a ingress egress sign from the landowners, we can get in there and do whatever we need to do for the city part.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem.
That's right. I think that's all, for the most part, everybody in the city is on agree that we need to clean our ditches, stuff like that. And the guys at Public Works are doing a good job with what the equipment they have. I've been through a couple, they replace pipes when I need them, so we don't have to pay for that. But just in general, I've got a good friend that's my police sheriff that I vote on north in the north part of the parish, so I can contact him. He's an engineer. He works for Lasby Associates. I would be glad to call him and try to sit down and see what he says. And just see where they're at, see what projects. I do know they do drainage projects. I do they clean the stuff. It's keeping it clean. And we all have problems with throwing trash in the ditches and stuff like that. That's our community here has got to take care of themselves and their areas in town. But for the most part, once we get stuff replaced, we need to keep pretty good ways back. The city needs to be able to get back in there, and they will be able to get down in this area now instead of having to try to use a ladder to get down into that and try to get stuff. So, anything that y'all need us to do, Mayor, you just email us. Be glad to come look at anything. It's probably in July. We're pretty clear, and it's probably a good time to go look at some stuff when it's not rainy because it's been raining the last 3 weeks. Y'all got any other questions?
Yes, sir. If, going back, I have a couple of questions. Going back to the sewer treatment project, you guys are associated with that as well.
Yes.
I heard you talking about replacing pumps. What exactly are you doing at the sewer, the treatment facility plant itself?
So they were replacing the 4 pumps that is pumping to the clarifiers. If I'm not mistaken, I want to speak out of turn because I wasn't part of that project. And those pumps go bad. It's not because of what we're putting in, it's the stuff like the wipes and stuff like that get hung up in those pumps, but they've aged. So it's probably more or less an age thing. You don't just replace pumps to replace them. It's for a reason. They've either aged or they're undersized for how big we've gotten, how much sewer is going to that plant now. I think one of the arms on the clarifier, which what it does, it goes in and out across the tank, and it's pulling sludge off of it, keeping it clean on the top. And that's the smell part of it, trying to keep all that out and get it, where it gets back to where we can put it in a channel where it's,
Well,
I'd
let
say
me
90%
pick up on that, because that's where I was headed. The next question was the smell.
Right.
What can we do, that what can we do to kind of eliminated, because I stay over off South Washington, back over in London. And there are several days a week that the smell, the odor is just almost unbearable.
Well, I can talk to our sewer guys, but our infrastructure is aging
Mhm.
pretty good. So as we replace roads and redo roads, we're replacing all the sewer infrastructure as we do it. I mean, so all this new pipe going in, everything's getting there faster. Everything's getting to the, so it's not slowly getting there anymore. It's getting there pretty quick. So really, it's probably gonna take a major overhaul, really, and money it's a high dollar expense. So I would say probably what they're doing now is gonna help a little bit. And the extra money that we got in here for extra work is gonna go towards that, I'm assuming, because it's bad when it's really, really hot. That's when it's really, really bad. It's not bad in the wintertime. It's bad when it's really, really hot. So, I would have to get back to you on that. So I wouldn't just give you the wrong answer, but I know that this is working towards that.
Right.
So,
Okay, McEast Street Bridge. Thank you for, the information you always provide. Again, that's in my district and District B. And I get asked that question a lot. And of course, until it gets, at least they see work start on it, they're gonna continue to ask questions. And I just want to be able to keep providing, a good answer, for what's going on. And so, my question now is the width of the bridge itself now. I'm sure you have to go under there and pull out a lot of stuff there. Once they start to pull that stuff out and repair it, how far past just the bridge itself, width wise, is it gonna go out?
are you talking about length
Yeah.
along the road?
No. It would be the width.
So you're going into the channel.
Right.
Okay, so we've actually widened the road, because the bridge, you could barely get across the bridge
Right,
with two
right.
vehicles. We widened the road to make it, probably, I believe it's two 10-foot lanes, two 2-foot shoulders, and then the guardrail will go to the outside of that. So if you're looking at it, so that's, just say that's 24 feet wide, and we're going out 100, so we're 50 foot from the center line, 50 foot from the center line. So we're another 30 foot or so on either side of that road where those pipes are going to end. And that slope going down they'll be able to walk down that slope now. So, but going lengthwise down the road, I believe we're going 50 foot to put new asphalt past each end of the current bridge. So it'll be a new, and I want to say we kept the elevation the same.
Right.
So there will be no dip in it. And if we have water back up, it'll still be able to flow across it, but it won't take the embankment away because we got riprap along the side.
Okay, so let me ask this question as well too. If y'all, let's say y'all get started, what's today? Day the 15th? Let's say you get started July 1st. How long, once you get started, the actual work, is there an estimation of from the time you get started to completion time?
Yes, sir. I believe we have 90 days on that project since we're not rebuilding the bridge and putting
Right.
pipes in. So that's 90 calendar days, not 90 work days. So let's just say estimate wise, we average rain 5 days a month out of that 9. So you're gonna have to add probably 15 days to that. So we're looking at 105 days. So July, August, September, end of September would be October. But I'll give you a timeline of what we think it is. So
Right.
if I get the plans and y'all vote to say, yes, we're good to go at the next council meeting, whatever it is, July 1, or the first council meeting of July. From that point, it takes 3 weeks. I got to put it in the paper for 3 weeks, a minimum of 21 days. And And then what we'll do, open it on the 4th week. We say, yes, it's good. We send you a letter, you approve it. You can have a special meeting, however you want to do that. But if we're going month to month, let's just say I get it approved, advertised, I can get it done and get you a letter of recommendation by the August meeting. And you say, yes, we're good to go. Get a notice to proceed. The mayor can sign it. The council does not have to approve a notice to proceed. That's just the start of a project. If we give them 30 days to assemble, that's to get all their stuff in a row, all the pipes ordered and get it to the job. That's usually what it is, about 30 days. So you're at August, September, they can build it in October, November, December. So it's still gonna be first of the year. It's the rainy part of the year, but you're gonna have contractors that need work at that point, because most people that put pipes in are road contractors. We don't lay very much asphalt during the winter time. So it's too cold. Once it gets to 50 degrees, and it's gotta be 59 and rising, but once it gets to 50 and it just stays there, they can't lay asphalt. So those contractors will be looking for that job. Now, we do have asphalt in the job, and there will be days in January where you can lay asphalt, but it's not every day. It'll be at the end of the job. So, but that's what I got.
Okay, my questions were next. The Highland Oakdale project, that's my district,
Yes, ma'am.
and the flooding was occurring on Fairfield. That's where all that flooding.
Is that the road that's the road that's between Highland and Oakdale? Am I correct?
No, Fairfield is going the other way.
Okay.
Ridgecrest is over in that area too. And I noticed, the last heavy rain, we had a lot of flash flooding in that area. So is that area part of the area that will be, taken care of after you fix all that drainage?
It should help, because when I say the pipes are crushed, the pipes, when we put the new pipe underneath Highland and fix the sidewalk, is actually laying on top of, on the pipe on the south side of Highland. Once we open up that area and get everything cleaned out of the ditch and get all the pipe replaced in the area between, it's always gonna help out with stuff from downstream. I mean, upstream coming down. It may not help it, but it's gonna help out a lot more than it is now. Right now, it's just piling up because there's nowhere for it to go. So if you go behind the house, going towards Oakdale, from Highland, we walk that whole area, and there's a catch basin there that is just, the water's supposed to go in the side of it, and from the land, it's supposed to go in the top of it. It's broke all to pieces. So the water is just backing up. All the dirt is piled up in it. So now it's having to build up and go. So if we can get it where it's not building up behind Highland, we should be able to get Fairview out. Like, it should get out faster. But there again, somebody puts stuff in the ditches. If somebody comes and throws leaves in the ditches and burns them, all that stuff leads to everything that you're getting backed up into that area. But it should help.
Because the house that's flooding is right next to some type of, little canal.
Yes. And that's what, like I said, if you walk that area, I walk the area, and it's so grown up, there's trees in it. We're gonna remove all of it. But the part of the project that we were talking about is going in there, removing that and getting rid of everything in there. Maybe even get rid of the pipe, because it's in the backyard of somebody's house, and it's got one of the houses is abandoned. The other house is a renter. I mean, that's not saying nothing, but that one that's abandoned, there's just stuff in it. Nobody's taking care of it. So all the trees and all the brush is grown up in that over. I want to say that's on the Oakdale side, whatever. I can't remember what the road is between Highland and Oakdale. But there's a road that we got to cross it as well. So that would be replacing all the pipes. So we should be opening up drainage to get water out faster. I can't tell you that it's going to get out fast enough, but just because of all of the development in the area. I mean, all those houses are older. So it should help tremendously. But that was, I think that was in y'all's budget as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think, Mr. Jake told me that at some point that y'all talked about putting that in the budget for that, but I couldn't promise you, because that was last year, it should have been June, May of last year that we talked before he retired. So, but we're gonna look at all that again. We didn't design, we just put an estimate together. And I want to send it to Jake, but I don't know how far.
And I know you said the last road we paid was, from the LGBT grant. Am I saying that right?
LCBG.
Yeah. Do you have any more roads on a list to be paid? Have we given you anything?
All right, so about 4 years ago, I did a full, road, rating for the city. And so I do have access to that, and I definitely can get you a copy of all that. It tells you what roads are bad. When we went back and did Henry Street, and we went back and done Hickory, we pulled, the worst of the main travel roads. There's a lot of roads on there that could have been done, smaller roads that would have helped out with the citizens of Bastrop, but travel roads is what we were trying to fix because they were so bad. And anything that's got a lot of sewer on it, it's good to go ahead and get those done because the sewer needs to be replaced. But I do have a full, every road, every street in Bastrop has been rated.
And that was like a year ago?
I know that was about 4 years ago when I did it. So when I send it to you again, what I would do is we're gonna rate it one step worse.
Okay.
That's how
We
we do
need
it.
that.
And then, so what we'll do is any street that we've redone, we'll go back and make it a 5, instead of, what it was. So any street that we've done, we did, in the first part, we did 22 streets about 5 years ago. Then 3 years ago, we did 5 big streets, Hickory, East Pecan. We did Henry Street from Pearl all the way to around the curve. I think they just did Jackson Street on the LCBG deal. But when we did 20, it went from 22 down to, it got so expensive, we got down to like 6 of them that really need to be done. I think everybody in the district got one at that point. But I think if we put, I think in your district, we did Orion in the previous 22. But you can take it and look at it. But we changed it. We had a full, we had already surveyed a bunch of them, and we come back and met with the council as a group, and, well, not a group, it was 2 on the committee, and we walked through everything, and everybody said, okay, this road's really bad. We want to do this main road this last time. So I have all that. I can give it to you. And I can email it to the mayor.
Because I think we need to start on roads.
I don't know, all that was done on the street tax for the last, it got built up pretty good. And when the cost, right now, it's not cost efficient to fix roads. Asphalt, I just did a project and we're at $275 a ton, and it's supposed to be $180 a ton.
One more question. Do you have a, design that we could look at for the McPhee Street? I can't call it a bridge, but.
Right. So I do have a design. I've sent it over a couple times, but I will, Mr. Reed, do you have a copy?
No, you send that.
Okay, I'll send it over and get to Mr. Reed here, and I'll get y'all some stuff.
Send
I'll make
3
some
things to me.
But anything that y'all need, just give it to Mayor, Mr. Reed, and they converse with me pretty good. Mr. Ray, I've got some emails from her. Anything y'all need on, but don't hesitate. I mean, it may take me a day or two to get back with y'all, but I'll get it back. And so, I'm sorry. And so anything that y'all need us to come look at, I live in Bastrop, north of Bastrop now. Used to live in Bastrop many years ago, but I'm always in town. So.
Anybody else have questions for him? Thank you, sir. What?
I don't want to be out of order.
Yeah, he's out of order.
We can't, yeah.
Public comment is over.
Well,
Since he
was-
addressed,
He was not on
sewer-
the agenda. We didn't know that he was coming to speak. I don't see him. No one on the
Is it-
agenda. I had one.
Point of order, Mr.
Point
President.
of order.
You snuck him in.
Since he has already talked about sewer, y'all still need him here.
Gentlemen, y'all through?
Y'all had questions about sewer. I know we're not on sewer budget, but he's talked about it just so let.
I don't think they
I
need
think
you.
we're good.
Well, if y'all need anything else, y'all just call me and let me know. Be
All
glad
right, thank you.
to answer anything.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, have a good evening.
Madam Pro Tem members, we go into the budget. Y'all had it for some, several weeks now. In light of conversations I had with Mr. Fisher and, the two,
We need to adjourn this meeting.
no, we still on the cell phone.
Oh, we still on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So members, y'all had the, sales, tax district number one budget for several weeks now. The only changes, and I got some proposed amendments that I want the council to, put them on your, before you, that I want you to consider and adopt along with the, budget. There are two, the main change to, the budget that was proposed is that there are two projects which, Mr. Fisher alluded to, that LCDBG, I have to say it slow. Currently, there's no projects or funding in the works. This was something that was included in the budget that we inherited, that we revised. And in light of that, I'm asking that be amended out and reduced. There's also was a project that I believe the last administration applied for, and it was a sidewalk to West Madison, Dr. Park. They submitted everything that was required. The previous administration, I think, got a letter from Department of Transportation that indicated that that project was not approved. That was brought to our attention last week when we reached out to Department of Transportation to in preparation for these hearings. So with that being said, Mr. Chairman, Madam Pro Tem, I presented to the council budget amendments to the sales tax district number one. Amendment number one just reduces the interest income to the level where it was in the original budget. Again, it's just being conservative with our estimates in regards to agenda amendment number two. Because those projects are being taken out of the budget, there's no need to use any surplus money from the fund balance. So I'm asking that be reduced to zero, which reduces the total means of financing, amendment number three, to $1.4 million. On the revenue side, again, the amendment number four increases the street drainage expense to $253,000. Again, members, the fund balance, and we'll talk about it, I attached the balance sheet to the budget as well, is very substantial. So there's some things that council wants to contemplate. Again, Mr. Fisher said he's going to forward that the road information to me, and I'll put it in the next month's packet, just for you to have, for you to review, just to have in the event that you take on 3 projects during the next fiscal year. So again, you look at amendment number 5, reduces again that project that was not funded, 0, along with amendment number 6, also reduces the LCDBG. Again, we're going to reach out to Mr. Waxman to see if there's any potential for funding during the next fiscal year in regards to that, so we can use that to rehab and repair streets. And then, of course, as the fund balance is there, be appropriate. So with that being said, members, I ask that you, review and I ask for a motion to adopt, the set amendments, as outlined.
Point of information.
Yes.
As I'm looking at the budget, the amendments that you made, it's gonna reduce the, but I think you said it's gonna zero out. It's not gonna adversely affect any other portion of the budget.
That's correct.
But are you saying that we're gonna be minus 200,000?
The budget is being reduced by, 1.1 million plus the 357, so about 1.4 million dollars. Being reduced.
So it's gonna be, budget is gonna be reduced by.
Right. And then we'll talk, I got amendments to the fund balance as well. You'll see that the fund balance increased by that number, which I got a set of amendments to do that as well. But actually take us to the amendments to the budget first, and we'll talk about the balance sheet after that.
This moves in the finance meeting, so this is where we was anticipating the money, we still haven't received it.
Well, we had anticipated that these grants were applied for and approved. So short answer is yes. Deep question.
Okay, yeah, so. We're gonna take it out because we had applied it to the budget on the assumption that we was gonna receive it, but we didn't receive it.
We did.
So
Project.
therefore, we're gonna subtract 1.4.
No, we're over 1.4. Yes, sir. Which just money goes back to fund balance, and you can, spend it on street drainage. Because again, right now it's over $250,000 put in the budget for drainage during the first quarter. If there are projects identified, Mayor Pro Tem, like the ones contemplated in that area, and I'm not thinking. Was it your area too, Mr. Locke, over there at I can't remember. I know what somebody else. But in any event, yeah, over there, Camille. That money can be appropriated, for those projects, assuming that we don't get any of that block grant money to do some of those things. And some other grant opportunities that the mayor's pursuing in regards to that.
So it was not allocated for any specific project.
There were two projects. Yeah, that was the sidewalk West Madison to Dodson. That was a specific project the previous administration applied for.
So we're gonna scrap that project until we get the money.
No, that project was denied. Those were competitive grants.
I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
The grant was denied.
Mhm.
We were anticipating on receiving that grant. So therefore, when you did the budget, you included it in the budget. Now we're going to subtract that from the budget because we're not going to get that. So the budget is going to shrink by whatever amount that is.
That's
Well,
true.
with that money, so it was just roughly 16 million. So you're going to take 1.4 million from the 16 million total,
I'm gonna follow.
from the total budget.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Okay. It was not, the money was not appropriate in a specific, well,
It was.
yeah, project, and we didn't get it.
Mhm.
So when you did the budget, you was anticipating on receiving it. So you included in the budget. Now you're taking it out of the budget, so the budget is gonna shrink. The overall budget is gonna shrink by
Right. It
about
was
1.4.
correct.
That's what
It is.
that's what I wanna make sure.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna be $1.4 million shorter than what we anticipated, but you said it's not gonna adversely affect any other portions because you zeroed it out.
Correct. It's not adverse because the fund balance is growing by.
Okay. You did fund balance the general fund.
No, this is street tax. This is
So the three sales tax.
Yeah, we talking about the sales tax issue, right? But
So all this is coming from just street tax.
correct. Which theoretically you can approach because the fund balance is increasing. You can allocate it in a project the next fiscal year. Again, once the engineer identifies projects, council said, you know, hey, I need an engineer report on that. You can appropriate those funds from the fund balance, because that's what it's for.
I guess my question was, my concern, I know it's specifically where you gotta spend it, because this is in a specific area. I'm talking about the totality of the budget. When you did the budget, you compiled all of it and you came up with a final number. Now, that final number is gonna be subtracted by this $1.4 million.
Correct.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Yeah.
Councilman Doe?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Just, I have a few questions, Mr. Ricky, because I want to make sure that I get a good understanding of the budget. Item number, or say amendment number 4, line 23. I look at line 23, that's Dotson Park grant, 357, is that correct?
Line number 23.
Yes, 357.
Yes.
We did not get that grant, right?
Right.
So,
You know, Mr. Zodi, I see what, that was supposed to be zero. I'm sorry, members. I'm gonna ask that, member number 4
should be 0.
should be 0, and member number 5 should be 250. Thank you, Mr. Doty. Point that out.
Okay. So if we look at 25. Is the East Street Bridge.
Yeah, I don't have 25 on the member.
Okay, but you said you would move that one to 25.
I mean, 23 and 24, I'm sorry. Yeah. The only thing I'm changing, not the line numbers, but the map.
Yeah, okay.
I
Just wanna
misspoke.
make sure.
You misspoke, yes.
Okay, also, as I look at the, that was my first question, on why this didn't public budget, which is 0 in that out.
Yes.
Okay, did we have to, set aside any grant money, any, matching money, for that particular grant?
Actually, the way that it's been done in the past is that these projects, when they get them, the city would fund the total amount and get reimbursed.
Right.
So that's the only reason why that placeholder was there, is because we got this budget in, and these grants were on that budget. Okay, we had no way to vet those in the time that we had to put the budget together. So we said we'll just, as we go, look at, no, just explain why.
Yeah, I have
So-
an issue with that.
Right, so those were there. Got information that, number one, the other one was not approved back in March last of the 2025. And conversation with Mr. Fisher, come to realize that we didn't have any of the block grant for projects for this year. They were finishing up the ones for the county.
Right.
So when that information came to light, it's like, okay, we have to amend the budget, because why earmark that money when it's unnecessary to do so? And so the fund balance can reflect an accurate picture. So moving forward, you see what the fund balance is, and there are projects again that are identified and get engineer reports on. It's something that the council wants to fund through the budget, the fund balance, as opposed to trying to get grant monies or what have you. Those are the options that the council can weigh.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that question is, if we set aside money, matching money for a particular grant.
But this wasn't matching money. They said like the whole project, which moving forward, as you see what we did with sewer, we only set aside the matching money. We're not placeholding money that
But
could be.
that is my question.
Right.
If you're setting that money aside, where do you set that money aside? Does it go in an account?
No, it's
Or you just put it out of the general fund of that particular fund?
it's just earmarked as on the line item in the budget for that money, just like any other line item.
Okay, I'm not talking about projects we do for
No,
ourselves.
I'm saying anything you look on the budget is reserved, because that's why we got a total revenue, total expenses. So you see a account number that has a name and an amount, that's the amount that's budgeted out of this budget. So out of the $1.4 million that's in the sales tax district number one, little over $250,000 is budgeted for drainage. If we had a project like when we get to the sewer, you earmark the matching money for that project, and that the matching money only, and it's just reserved and it's counted in the budget as a line. So it's not necessarily reserved, it's just it's budgeted, the money's in the account. Yeah, and it's just like any other budget item.
Okay, if you'll go with me, let's see, on the McPhee Street Bridge, just so everybody else coming to know, there's a $10,000 difference. We allocated 500,000 and 10,400 was spent.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us again what that 10,000 was for?
That more likely than not, and I can verify that, was probably the fees from the engineer fees from when they did the initial work on developing the plans for it. So again, they probably submitted the invoice and it was paid. And I think Madam President asked for, I know you asked for a copy of the plan. Somebody asked for a copy. So that's forthcoming. So that, and I can attach that invoice to that to show you what.
Okay.
That was probably the engineering fee for the plan and the work that they did, the preparation of putting that project together, which is not out of the ordinary.
Last question. You have, okay, excuse me. Line item number 26, the LCDDG street grant.
Correct.
Again, we're zeroing that out.
Right, because right now, as
Taking it out.
Mr. Fisher indicated, there's no plan that's attached to any of those funding. Again, we're gonna reach out to Mr. Waxman. He's the primary contact person in regard to that. Talk to him about whether or not there's anything in the works that we can contemplate receiving. If we will, just like any other one-time money, moving forward, we're gonna separately appropriate that, one of the budget amendment period. So if we get that money, we gonna appropriate it, because I mean that's great.
Okay, good. Look at a lot of, I guess, look at a lot of numbers all the time. And I try to keep this stuff straight in my head, but I always kind of refer back to the paper. Like you have on the LCDB, I understand it's zeroing out, but I'm just using that for an example because it's there. I would ask that when we do grants or we submit for grants, that if we start putting them in the budget, that you could put the actual originating date on that particular item or on that particular grant. That way, we'll be able to easily identify it. If we submit it for, let's say we submit something tomorrow, June the 16th, and it probably won't come to fruition until maybe a year or two down the line. Mm-hmm. But if we see it on the budget, we'll be able to easily identify it and know when it was submitted. And so a lot of things that come in like that, I'd like for them to be dated with a specific originating date and the appropriate name of the grant. Not saying anything is out of order here, but again, that way, so everything that I look at, I can easily identify. And you guys do a great job, because I call you all the time and ask you about stuff. So again, but if I don't have you present when I'm actually looking at these documents, I can easily refer back to what's being talked about in front of me. So you understand?
Right, I think that information should be in the engineering report when they initially do it. So moving forward, we'll just put the engineering report in your packet and you just, I know you might ask for it periodically.
Right.
We'll give it to you as soon as it's done. Just like, the project that, Mr. Fisher was talking about, Mayor Pro Tem district. So whenever that engineering report comes, we just submit it. I'm sure it has all those dates in.
I'm just talking about, that'd be great too, but I'm talking about when we identify, we put it on the budget, on the report itself, in the packet.
Yeah, look, all these projects gonna be starting with the engineer. So those reports should have all that. We'll make it routine to submit the engineering report, once they're completed on all projects. So,
We ain't talking about 10, 12 pages or nothing like that.
well, I don't know how long it's been. I'm sure that one pager may have it.
Right. Just the page that identifies the project itself and the date.
And I may attach a summary, one page.
Right.
But that's what we move forward. We'll start putting the, giving you the engineering report, and I'll do a one pager summarizing everything. So I can do that with Joe.
Okay, thanks.
I got
Councilman Green?
one of the recommendations. When we kept referring to the total budget numbers.
Mhm.
It's not a problem because we got sufficient amount of funds in the sewer and streets. So miscalculation, if we kind of don't get something, we got enough money to play with. But when you're dealing with the police department, and maybe even the fire department, what I'm saying is from this day forward, when we do a budget, I know you zeroed it out, but let's don't count money until we have it in hand.
Oh,
Therefore, you won't have to go back and make no adjustments. You can put it out to the side that we anticipate this money, but as far as the overall budget, it shouldn't be included because therefore you get a false sense of security. Because if you do it over in, just say, the police department, and they get a grant, they have to have a matching fund, and that's the general fund, then that's we think we got something that we really don't have. You may know because you're the budget guy. And I may look at it as a finance thing, but actually, in actuality, if I don't dig deeper, I'll be misled just by looking. But if you itemize it out and just put it to the side, therefore I'll be able to actually see it. And like, there's no problem when it comes to the sewer, because we got. But the problem may arise is like the police department when I can say miscalculate, but that's not a good word. When we put something in that we anticipate, because we've been anticipating a lot of stuff for a lot of time, long time.
right.
And it may take 6 months, may take 3 years. Because, that's what we always at the end of the goalpost last time. It was always the last date. That's when we was so rushed to get things done.
Right.
Just like when you apply for this grant today, it may be at the end of our term before we receive it.
Right.
So we thinking we have it. Well, let's just count what we have on hand. And that we don't have, it'll be a blessing if we receive it.
Right. And what we've done, again, I remember the first meeting we had when we redid the budget that we inherited. I identified one of the first things I said is $1.6 million one time. That most of that is attached to recurring expenses, which is a no-no. This budget, if you see the budget message, has no one-time money in it. That's purposeful to do exactly what you're talking about. Because when we get one-time money in, the policy and the procedures, we're going to appropriate it accordingly, and it's going to be a subsection of the budget. So we've already taken steps to do that. This is our first budget, and it reflects that. There's no one-time money in. And when one-time money comes in, we're going to budget it when it comes in. and then we're gonna attach one-time expenditures to it. So that's the mechanism that we have in place, especially with the general fund, because again, the other funds don't really have that issue. But general fund, that's moving forward. We're not appropriating one-time money. And then when we get one-time money in, we're gonna make sure that we budget one-time expenditures to match that one-time money. And it's gonna be doing one of the amendment processes in the budget. So that's what we're doing moving forward. So there's not gonna be an instance where that occurs, because if it's one-time money,
Dedicated.
it's gonna be dedicated. We're gonna have a separate, it's gonna be general fund, but it's gonna be, as you see when I create it, when we get it in, it's gonna be toward the end, it's gonna be new accounts and new entries. So you'll clearly see the difference. Because all one-time money is gonna be at the end of the budget, once we get it in, and as we amend it, anytime you wanna see that number, it's gonna be toward the end of the budget. And we're not going to budget it until we receive it.
Let me get clear. We saying the same thing. We doing the same thing. We just doing it slightly different. What I'm suggesting, you're not allocating one-time money. You got to put outside.
It's not in there.
It's not in there, right? But you add it to the total budget.
No. It won't do it until we get it.
He did it this time. I'm telling you, because that's when we subtracted $1.4 million.
No.
If we,
No, when I say that this is our first budget. We made modifications to a budget that was presented to us. So again, it was during this administration, but we didn't put that budget together. We amended it, that budget. So everything that was in there, we left it in there. Only thing that we reduced, if you remember, are the salaries that were over budgeted and other stuff that was inflated. We eliminated all of that. That's how I was able to identify that $1.6 million of one-time money. And then I said, that's a problem, because if we don't have the revenue to replace that, we got a problem. So here again, that's why we put in these safeguards to it. There's no one-time money that's gonna be appropriated until it comes in. And then when it comes in, we're gonna present a budget that's gonna be itemized based on, so we get $1 million general fund, it's gonna be tied to $1 million worth of expenditure that are one-time expenditure. And then you adopt it.
point of information. I understand what you're saying. I understand what Locke saying. Follow me on this. We just did a budget. We just did a revision. And we just have subtracted $1.4 million away from the budget. Am I right? Because we was anticipating those funds. So therefore, it was added into the budget.
Correct.
That if it was added into the budget, that means you have to take it out of the budget. What I'm referring to now is don't even add it to the totality of the bottom line, just put it outside as anticipated revenues.
In other words, he's saying don't that particular line, don't use that as the expense or revenue.
Right. That was the budget. We're not doing that now. So I'm this is why I'm kind of confused, because we're talking about a budget that was last fiscal year, well, this current fiscal year that we modified it to the best we could, identified the problem, and I presented the solution in this budget. So what is there the thing that
I know the problem is I'm looking at the budget you amended, right? I'm looking at the budget from last year that we came in and did. I know the previous mayor administration may have done, but we accepted it. We came in, we made modifications.
Correct.
You're not doing that this year.
Correct.
Okay, that's what we
Yes,
we're getting lost at. Because I'm saying, I know I'm looking at these numbers and we taking out. We just talking about two different budgets.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You're right.
Okay, well,
I'm talking about the one that's coming up next year.
Would you like to go ahead and get integrated? Now, but real quick. When we submit these grants, right? What I'm speaking about now is the letter we got, is it from DRA? Or where?
No, that was you talking about
For the 357.
Yeah, that's the sidewalk that came from DOTD.
Okay, DOT, somewhere in the state. Okay, so that letter was dated March the 6th.
Mhm.
And we're just not getting that letter?
Yeah.
Dated March the 6th?
Well, the problem is that as we went along, we started asking questions, trying to get, we didn't have contact information.
Right.
So we had to kind of do it on the fly.
You had to build something.
You know, it's no fault of anybody.
Right.
But it was put in the budget proposal for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's neither here nor there.
No, I'm not speaking anything about the budget. I'm strictly talking about the letter, basically the communication part of it now.
Right. I got that letter last week. So
Yeah,
we finally got a contact from DOTD, and we were able to get that information because that's one of the things that we wanted to figure out. It's like, what's going on with this grant? Because we didn't have any information.
Right.
So we started piecing the thing together. Because again, you know, I don't want to look backwards. It is what it is.
Right.
We didn't fix it in this current budget, so I'm, you know,
I'll put it in the package.
right. So I don't know how we can go back and unring that veil. We just can't. But moving forward, if we just look at the FY 26-27 budget, all these questions I've been.
Yeah, this is no criticism.
No.
You guys just want to make a clarification. All I'm saying is about the process. When I see the date is March the 6th, and today is past June the 6th, that means 3 months have passed by since that letter was dated saying that we were not going to get that grant. So it got hung up somewhere in the pipeline. So, but again, thank you for the clarification on that part. And going forward, I'm hoping that we're gonna have better communication going forward with these people at the state level, wherever we're getting these grants from.
Well, we'll be having initial conversations with them, so that won't be anything lost in translation. You gotta understand, and again, I don't want to look back. We had no transition, so the question that we could have asked, we didn't have opportunity. So we had to do the best we could, and I think we did a hell of a job in putting this together on the fly. And you know, and this budget shows the problems that were identified, we eliminated, and we're moving forward, not looking back.
You in the company, Council Dick? Anybody else?
All right, again, members, I ask that, and Council Doyle, thanks again for pointing that error out I made. And I got a set of amendments, yep. Madam Pro Tem and members, I want you to consider adopting, to the sales tax district number 1 revenues and expenditures for the year ending June 30, 2027.
I get a motion. What's the motion, sir?
Motion to adopt my set of amendments 1 through 7.
I'll make that motion.
I get a second.
Roll call.
It ain't been taken.
Okay. Could I get a vote?
Ms. Angela Chapman, District 8.
Yes.
Do we have any discussion before?
Mr. Henry Doty, District B.
Yeah, we still, I still got to vote.
Yeah.
James Green, District C. Mr. Derek Green, District D.
Yeah.
I said yes.
That's about. Yeah, we still, we just going to. That's an action.
Councilman D Green.
Okay, Mr. Howard Block, District E.
Yes.
It's just accept. What's wrong with Captain Green had questions. But you can't answer, you can't, we already voted. Discussion is closed.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember the last thing before we get to the overall adoption of the budget. Is it what's required?
Excuse me, Mr. Rick.
Yes.
I make a motion to suspend Robert rules of order just for this session. Before we move to the next session, because we don't, then Councilman G. Green, he had questions, so can we suspend? I ask for a motion to suspend Robert rules of order just for this section.
Second.
All in
All
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? J.P. Green?
Which doesn't, well, yeah, it was just for, the amendment number 3 on line 29. Make sure you go over it. The, $10 million.
Yeah, what I explained earlier.
I'm asking, in a particular item on here that's showing $10 million. I don't know, typo. It's
$10 million.
What's it?
Oh, that I ain't got to I ain't got to that yet.
This is the sales tax district 1. We're talking.
Right. I just did amendments to the budget. I hadn't talked about amendments to the balance sheet.
I know that's why. He said he was like this.
Right. We're taking up the next. So, I mean, it's the pleasure of council. I hadn't gotten to that yet. So that's why your question wasn't answered. Yeah.
All right.
So are we going back to regular order? Motion go back to regular order?
I make a motion to go back to regular.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Dismiss.
All right, members, if you can go again in your budget, there's a balance sheet given to you. There's a set of amendments to the balance sheet. Again, the items that were removed were based on the projects that were deleted from the budget. Again, we had discussions about that. So the amendments basically shows the increase in fund balance due to those projects coming off the book. Again, amendment number 1 was the funding that was used for this current fiscal year. That's deleted to 0. Line 27, so to make sure I got my numbers right, that was correct. The anticipated fund balance is going to be used for 2026. Line amendment number 2, line 27. Or do you want to go back to item 1?
Yeah,
Line 22. That was the funding that was used, set aside in this current fiscal year,
make sure we talking about the different.
and that go slow. The LCDVG grant. Those are zeroed out because we don't have those grants. So the because you adopted the amendments, the balance sheet had to be amended as well, which actually increased the fund balance. And that's amendment number 3, line 29. The estimated beginning fund balance for the next fiscal year is $10.5 million.
So just to go back, to number 22. Right, just take me through. You said that we didn't receive the funds for it.
No, the budget that we got when we came in had a bunch of grants. 2 grants in particular, which reason for these amendments was a sidewalk grant through Louisiana Department of Transportation. All right, the previous administration submitted, required documents to compete for that grant. They received a letter back in March from, BOTD saying that they didn't receive funding for that period, for that particular project. That wasn't brought to our attention until last week when we reached out to, somebody in DOTD that we built a relationship with. They got the information to us, and they forwarded that letter to us that I gave y'all in finance. That for whatever reason, the budget that we got, they left it in there. But the letter that they got was from March, so I'm not sure why. It's neither here nor there at this point. It's just the grant wasn't funded.
So with the previous administration budgeted at $80,000, that was for a grant.
It was 357.
Well, I'm looking at a particular line and it's saying $80,000. Look at 80,000, 57,000 year to date. Well, back in.
You go back to the budget. I'm talking about.
We not talking about the budget. I'm trying to call it.
No, I'm talking about the fund balance first, and then we gonna come back to the overall budget. I'm just going step by step.
So when you said amendment number 2, line 27.
You gotta go to the
I mean,
fund.
922. So this is not what I'm looking at. It's not this.
Is that balance sheet? I can't see.
They say the budget.
No, it's a balance sheet.
And I'm trying to follow you, Rick. I'm bad.
I'm sorry. If I didn't speak, I meant we're going through the balance.
Man,
That's a lot.
having a problem. Things that were applied for.
Mhm.
And we assume that we don't get funded. And then it got put in the budget.
Correct.
And that's what probably threw us off of the year. You assuming that we will get money, funding, and then we didn't get it, and it's going back and forth. Now you're going back, taking it out.
Right, because we don't have it.
We don't have it.
Yeah. And
But you see what
we'll be
I'm
told
saying?
it shouldn't have been put in.
Yeah.
It was,
When
so.
you're talking about when you put it in there and you're taking it out, it look like a deep budget, which we are, with money that we didn't have in it.
Right. Well, it's money that you had. It was earmarked for, it was placed a placeholder for money that was in the fund balance. That here again, because you didn't get it, you could have used that money this fiscal year on something. Because the way they've done it in the past, they will fund the whole amount of the project and get reimbursed. We're going away from it because again, you earmark the money that you could be using if you chose to. You could be using as opposed to, prepaying this project and getting money back later, and it goes back into the fund. We're not doing that.
Budget that you advertise.
Well, let's go back to. I want to make sure that we are.
The budget that you advertise for this year, did you include the money that we was anticipating on getting? Did you include that in this year's budget?
Yes, that's why I've been. Yes.
And that's why we taking it out. I'm saying we should. This is a whole new year. It's a brand new budget, but we just posted it for this year. So that has nothing to do with the previous year's budget, because I was getting confused. That was last year's budget. But you did it last year, and we turned around and did it again this year, because we was anticipating on getting it like we did last year. We didn't get it. And we did it again this year. We put it in the budget again this year. Therefore, we have to retract it. We have to subtract it. And then we have to do an amendment to the budget.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So we saying that we did it last year, and you say we weren't gonna do it this year, but actually, in actuality, we actually put it in the budget this year. We just didn't allocate it. What I'm saying is, we shouldn't have never put it in the budget at all. It should have just been a category outside to itself, saying anticipated revenue.
Oh, yeah, the letter said 300,000.
Right, but you gotta understand the origin of it, because again, we didn't have the information to reason.
Yeah.
Oh, it don't matter.
Yes,
When you
it
get
does.
information, no, it don't matter about information. Do you have the money? You don't
Yes.
have the money.
You missing what has been, you missing what has transpired in the past. Give you an example, the airport. In the past, the city will fund the whole project with the money that it has vis-a-vis general fund, like we did with the airport. This one with the street. So when you do that, you have to keep it in the budget, because that's the way they were doing it in the past. Because we will wait and get the money back once the project is complete. So we didn't have any idea the status of these projects. We just knew that, hey, we see them in there. How are we just gonna unilaterally take them out? Because that's how it's always done. We're gonna pay it and then get reimbursed. So we thinking that these projects have been approved. So why we wouldn't think that they were approved? We just not gonna disregard it because we just gonna zero everything out. We assumed that this project was approved because they put it in the budget. So, and they prepay everything and they ask for reimbursements later. That's just been the process before. So I'm not sure how we had enough foresight to figure that out up until now, when we said, okay, we need to get information on what's going on with this, because we get this information, like you need to talk to this person. Okay, once we talk to this person, talk to that. That's been a process. And unfortunately, we only got the information recently. Now, I wish we could have got that information 7 months ago, because guess what? When we did the second, third quarter adjustment, we would have did it then. The only problem is, again, I'm not trying to look back, but we got information when we got it, and I gave it to the council in real time, and I asked for amendment in real time. We didn't wait 6 months to give you the information. We got it last week. I gave it to you in finance meeting in preparation of amending the budget. So that's what we do. We're gonna give it to you in real time when we get it. I would have loved to have gotten this information.
I just for clarity, I want to make sure you hear me right. So just for example, right, they had like just the previous administration, they had like a bridge grant. Before they get approved, they just put it in the budget. And then, so it's in the budget, phase in the budget for $700,000. And then later, throughout the year, you get a letter saying that,
You know, we-
We got last week's figure.
Yeah. We're not doing it.
so in other words, it was almost like,
I mean, I can't speak for that. All I know is that moving forward, and that's what we're trying to do, we're not doing that.
But I guess my thing would be, if was any of these grants matched?
No, the matching goes out the window, because the previous practice is to fund the whole project and then get reimbursed later.
Not all of them though. Sometimes it asks you for a percentage, maybe 100,000. One particular time.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the ones that were we talked about it, that were in this current fiscal year budget. Those grants, those projects were funded totally.
So, okay, even just say, hypothetically speaking, that they created this line item for a particular grant that we never received, but it was nothing used out of this imaginary grant at all.
Right. I'm gonna put this in a tight bow and understand that how we moving forward is that one grant that we knew from day one what it was the sewer money. And the only thing that we put in the budget was the matching money. That's from this administration. So that's how we're gonna moving forward. So if anybody wants to know how we're gonna do this moving forward, we're giving you an example. That's what we did. We knew about that grant from day one. Okay, first question I asked administration was, do we have to fund that entire amount? Because I don't like to do that because of the problems that I saw with the airport money. And she said, no, you don't have to do that. You just reserve your matching money because when invoices come in, they'll pay, we'll pay our portion of it. So I think ours was a 10% match. So whatever that ratio is for on that invoice, that's the only thing that we paying, and we deduct it from that $100,000.
And I think past practice.
That wasn't
They
done.
was paying the whole thing upfront.
And get reimbursed later. And I can only go by what was in this budget.
Well, I'm the chairman of the finance thing, and I remember having this conversation about 6 months ago. Anybody remember when I said, do not put that in there because we're not gonna get it?
That was general fund.
You said that.
That was
We're
general.
gonna get the budget. We're gonna get the
Two different things, Mr. Chairman.
sir.
That's two different things. That was general fund money. That was general fund, airport, and Hurricane Laura. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the street and talking about those grants that were on the budget that we inherited. We kept it because we didn't have any information on going. And then as soon as we had information regarding those grants, we submitted it to the council in real time, and we're making real time budget adjustments. Now, again, in a perfect world, I wish we would have had this information 6 months ago. And if we had 6 months ago, you know what would happen? I'd have proposed amendments during the third quarter budget. So again, moving forward, we've given you examples on how we're going to correct these problems. Number one, we'll talk about general fund later, but we're not putting one-time money in. Okay, that's not it. Number two, we're going to know the status of these grants because we get them from day one. The reason why I say that the grant that we knew from day one, we only budgeted the matching part and we told you everything about it. We know the status of that. We were able to track that information because we knew about it. These two things we didn't know anything about. And we're not casting aspersions on anybody. That's just a reality. And the fact of the matter is we didn't know about it, the status of it until recently. We gave the council real-time information on it because it's how we move. And we're making budget adjustments because why keep it? I could have kept it in the budget and then we made amendments later. Why do that? That makes no sense. Those grants were in the budget that we got. We had no reason to take them out because we didn't know the status of them. And then we just got this information through trial and error. That's what we had to do. Trial and error on everything that we're doing. And we're doing
Everybody should. No, I understand when we first came in. We had no status. This is the second budget that's being prepared. But when you say we don't know, we had a whole year to know. We included the same thing. We included it again in this year's budget, if you follow me, and we didn't even receive it last year. So we added it to a new budget this year in anticipation that we were gonna get it, but then all of a sudden, you got a letter saying that we didn't get it. So it was a whole year we didn't get it, and then we did it again this year. Can you see what I'm saying?
right, because the information wasn't done prior to submit. We don't wait till the last minute to do stuff. I wanted to make sure y'all had this budget with enough time to do that. Because had I waited till last minute, as traditionally done, to give it to y'all at the 11th hour, it wouldn't even been in the budget. But we're not moving that way. So here again, the money was set aside in the budget. The only thing that adversely affected y'all had projects that y'all wanted to fund and say, well, we can't fund it because we got these projects right here. So there was no contemplation of, oh, I got $1.4 million worth of projects that we need to fund, but we ain't gonna do it because we got these two projects out there. That's the only way that this would have been an adverse effect. Now, the money's being put back in the fund balance, why I gave you a copy of the balance sheet to attach this budget, which I'm not sure y'all ever gotten before. That's how we move forward. We're giving you the information. So here again, I got 3 amendments to the balance sheet that reflects the zeroing out of those two grants. Shows that that money just basically went back to the fund balance. It's not reserved anymore. And if we get any of those, that block grant, that we're budgeted accordingly.
You said.
Councilman Doty. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. Mr. Ricky, if you go back to number, 22, Councilman, D. Green, alluded to that. And that was a question I had, but I didn't ask it. The $8,000 for the striping of Liberty Marble and Camelo.
Line 20, we're looking at two different things. Line 22 in this amendment is for
No,
the
no, no,
balance.
not the amendment. On the, regular,
Right. Well,
sales tax district.
I don't mean to kind of sidestep, but we go get to the overall budget adoption. And
We're talking here?
yes, sir.
Okay,
I just wanted to get this
Okay.
balance sheet amended so we can put everything in the right posture for y'all to consider the entire budget.
okay,
Councilman, read to Councilman?
yeah.
Councilman D. Green?
You said that the way that they touched it last time with those grants was that the funds that came in, so what went back to the fund? If no money, it was no money never involved, what went back to the fund?
Well, the money was involved because they funded the entire 100% of the project with street money, with sales tax money.
You said, oh, they
Set aside.
Right, it was set aside. It was never spent. It was just set aside. It was earmarked for it, which is a bad thing to do because
if it's not paying in, I get it, yeah.
yeah. So that's why
But it was never used.
it was never used. So it goes back.
Yeah, so
It was just sitting there
Yeah.
for no particular purpose because y'all could use that for other projects.
Yeah.
In this fiscal year, had you wanted to. So with the amendment, it goes back to the fund balance. Now you can see you got $10.5 million in the fund balance that is not appropriated in this coming fiscal year. That if y'all had other projects, again, I only had $250,000 in for drainage projects. Y'all can add more money to that if you want. There may be a project is Madam Pro Tem, that project that they may not get enough money to get that. They may be $60,000 and $70,000 short. To do it complete, you got the money in the fund balance. Yeah, or I mean, when they send you that street list, the ratings, I mean, y'all can appropriate that how y'all see fit.
Councilman Locke?
Just hopefully we don't have any more other grants.
No, there's
So
no.
we don't do the budget, we don't have to work like this.
Right, sir.
I'm done.
Again, the balance sheet members, again, line item 1 is just reducing what was contemplated as surplus spending for this current fiscal year. Amendment number 2 was contemplated surplus funding for this coming fiscal year. For those projects are no longer viable. So amendment number 3 just shows the increase in funding. That's estimated beginning fund balance for FY 26-27. So members, I ask that you adopt these amendments to the sales tax district number 1 balance sheet.
I'll pause to Jay Green get back.
You said 26, 27? Did you say 26, 27?
Oh, yes, 26. That's coming up July 1.
We talking about the balance sheet, right?
Yeah, just about.
Keep counting, David.
I'm cited, you cited. I was assuming this 25, 26 years. So.
No, we doing budget for no, we're not doing the closeout. We're not doing the closeout amendments yet.
So, but you give me a balance sheet.
Yeah, I have to give that. That's part of the budget. That's the budget act. I have to tell you what the fund balance is at the end of the fiscal year and the beginning of the fiscal year. It's just y'all have never probably been given a balance sheet before, so I mean, it's neither here nor there. So I guess the bottom line is to see what the beginning fund balance. Now I can go back. I can go back and not give it to y'all. If that makes it less confusing, to give you information that I think you need. But I mean, if that's the problem, I can always not give
No.
it. Not if it's gonna confuse you, Mr. Green.
Trent. Waiting on. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is what we work on throughout, this balance is what we work on throughout 26.
Yes,
You know,
you know that is like. As you look at the balance sheet, you got assets, you got the liability. And then when we start reconciling the bank statements, this is be more clear to you.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need? No, I asked for a motion for, to adopt the amendment to the balance sheet.
Yeah.
They don't want to move without you, sir.
I'll make a motion. The mayor did.
But-
Second. All in favor?
No, roll call, man.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Angela Tappan, District 8.
Yes.
Mr. Henry Douglas, District B.
You gotta vote.
Be waiting.
It's not protocol. You gotta vote. You can't wait.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You out of order.
Rule him out.
Mr. James Green, District C.
Here, I mean, yes.
Mr. Derek Green, District D.
Yes.
Mr. Howard Law, District E.
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. And opposed? Carry.
All right, now members, again, we're back on the, resolution itself. Again, the, sales tax budget as amended, total revenues 1.4 million, total expenditures 1.4 million, it's balanced budget. Any questions on the budget as amended? Yes, sir.
About 26, right? It's a big.
25, 26, as amended. And so entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 26-2135.
Any motion?
I make that.
Need a second?
A second.
All in favor? Oh, you can roll call.
Ms. Angela Tappan, District A.
Yes.
Mr. Henry Douglas, District B.
Yeah.
Mr. James Green, District C.
Yes.
Mr. Derek Green, District D.
Yes.
Mr. Howard Law, District E.
All in favor?
Yeah. I make a motion.
Oh, y'all wanna do it? Can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn the sales tax meeting.
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. We got.
Yeah, just see. No, we saw the regular meeting with sewer.
Yeah.
We call it.
next week.
Call this meeting to order, please. Roll call to determine the quorum.
Ms. Angela Tappan, District A.
Here.
Mr. Henry Dolan, District B.
Here.
Mr. James Green, District C.
Here.
Mr. Derek Green, District D.
Present.
And Mr. Howard Block, District E.
Here.
All five present, we have a quorum.
Time on, please, ma'am.
7:35 p.m.
Please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Start with you, Bill, to the front, please.
Lord, we thank you for another day. Lord, I ask that you clear our minds, clear our hearts, and give us the vision to do the right thing for the city of Bastrop. I pray that we will all consider working together, whatever issues come before us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Salute, go ahead.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. To the republic, which is saying, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, before you go to public comment, ask the council to make a couple of amendments to the agenda, specifically agenda item number 6. You can delete and omit that. That was put on in error. Item number 7 needs to amend it to say July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. And number 8 amended to say July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. I ask that you take a motion to amend the agenda again to delete and omit 6.
Delete 6.
Delete 6, and 7 and 8. Just amend those fiscal years, July 1st, 2026 to June 2027. The error made on the agenda.
So we're gonna put 7 and 6.
You leave 6, just put omit. Just leave 7 and 8 with those amendments.
I'd like to make a motion.
I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, now, Mr. Chairman, you can go to public comment.
Clerk comments as they relate to the matter on the agenda. Any clerk? Anything on the agenda? Anything?
Good evening, again, Charles Bradley, Washington Street. I'd like to have a comment on number 5. I see you deleted 6, if I'm understanding it right. 7 and 8. I'll be real brief to slow the time. Let's talk about, I think I started 5, occupation and license. That we only have one problem. I know the history of that, so maybe 2 dealing with occupation and license. And we are in court on the second one. There's a lot of orders and judgment going on. They're not asking you to change the procedure. Well, the last month, the regular meeting, you were presented with a solar panel project, again, the high rules and regulations of solar panels. Well, we was in court on solar panel concerning occupational license, and we never did get a clear understanding. We got a lot of orders and things that can be done, I guess my question as a citizen, I mean, my concern as a citizen, let's say like that, is the occupation license that Perfect Landing have is still a valid occupation license, because they did not meet a lot of our rules and regulations. In other words, we brushing it aside, now we're coming back and changing and amending the procedure to occupation license. Well, that could be very catching in the future. Can Perfect Landing come back and say, well, this occupation license we have, and we want to appeal these procedures, because the judgment just is still, they have the right to appeal. And from this order, I'm looking at, we all been having to look at it, they also have either party has the right to go back for a preliminary injunction. Be very careful be very careful. I just counsel for the community's sake. Be very careful on this amendment of your occupational license because they could come back. Possibility, I'm not saying that, that's my question. It could come back and say, we got occupational license, so we can't, well, the judge say we can do it. Well, I don't think they have a valid occupational license, but going through our previous procedure, unless you change them and give them an opportunity to come under this new procedure that you're asking to do tonight. I mean, I would leave our procedures, occupational procedures as is. That's how I ask our council to do. I mean, you know, it's your choice because they receive the occupational license without you even knowing it because our attorney went forward and instructed our clerk to issue that occupation license that they have in their possession right now. They have not been solved. They have not even been really addressed in court. We talked about zoning and boning, you know, about different things, but we didn't get the occupation license. I'll tell the judge that. And let me move on from that because also, you know, consider that before you, you know, look a little forward into that before you make a decision on that. Let me look at number. Let me get you more time and I see the clock running. No, clock running. Okay, number 6, you say you're not going to discuss tonight. That right, Mr. Smith? That was deleted.
We deleted it.
Okay. Okay. What about 7?
Yes.
7 was deleted also.
No, it's.
Okay, well, 7 did. 7. I know the engineer came here and spoke a lot of different things to you. And I had some, and that do with streets and sewers. I have some concern about that for the simple reason he can tell you that he had enough bid. He said, oh, it's not good to accept a bid because we only have 1 bidder. Well, you don't have 1 bidder. You may not get 3 bidders. You may not move that project. That's speculation. Into the community activation. Okay, listen to speculation. Everything he brought to you was speculation. And you asked me to expect, we had a $5 million bond approval, haven't even been mentioned for streets, remember? We, previous administration did that. And I'm gonna move on. 14 seconds. Approval, okay. Number 8. The budget. If this budget has been amended, I mean, all this amended talk, all this level talk that we got from the, can I get a couple of minutes? I only need 5. I'm not going to talk. I just need 2 more minutes. If it's okay with the council.
I'll give him 2 minutes.
Motion for 2 minutes. Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jump on. 2 minutes it is.
Thank you. Okay, I hear a lot about budget amendments, letters you don't have no knowledge of. This budget been presented to the public. I see myself. If you're going to amend the budget, you should be able to repost the budget for it approved. For if you made an amendment, the public should have an opportunity to see them according to the Budget Act. We should have an opportunity to say, you like this one you took $1.4 million from the budget. The public needs to know that. We need to go back and look at, and get a clear understanding. But tonight you're asking to prove it. What's the rush? I saw you sound a lot of documents, amendments to different things. I just asked the discount, please consider. Let's take our time, and we ain't heard from the audit report yet. How can we pass the budget? We haven't even got a problem, and we can't get grant companies now they comply. That's why we'll be denied. Look at those letters. Ask them to show you the letters too, council. Just not tell you about a letter of denial. Show you the letter now. Let's see the reason for denial. Let's see the reason for denial. Let's post it. We were denied for certain reason. We were personally denied because we're not in compliance. Okay. Audit, we can apply, but we cannot receive. Now, I want each one of you to take that call to order. You got a phone call, legislative audit yourself. Don't take it from just your attorney, whoever your budget man is. And like I say, where's your bookkeeper? Where's our system? Where's our check and balance on these budgets? Mr. Green, Diddy Green, as a county, he's pretty good with numbers, but numbers not my specialty, but I'm not following this procedure, what they're doing here. Definitely when it comes to budgeting, one person, this way it's gonna be, we changed this minute. I think Mr. J. Green hit the nail on the head. I would approve it. Thank you, Council, for your time.
Anybody else? We'll move to 5, approve ordinance 26
Members, Mr. Chairman, I don't mean to interrupt. If we can kind of take something out of order, just to let a, person in the audience who members may have questions to that in regards to probably item number 8. We don't have to take up item number 8, Max, members can, is it Minnie-Wells, Charles? Come
We
forward.
got to suspend Robert Rules of Order.
This one, man.
I make a motion to suspend Robert Rules of Order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And, I was asking Ms. Minnie-Wells to come forward, any questions that the council may have in regards to, their services to the city. So we allow Ms. Minnie-Wells to,
That's what it is.
Yes. Those are just brochures that you all can take and review.
Could you say your name again?
My name is Kimberly Miniweather Calhoun, and I'm with K&B Consulting Services, and we handle the adjudicated sales process for the city of Bastrop. I was called here tonight, Ms. Clark and Councilman Green invited me to, because there were questions regarding some properties that were submitted.
Was it J or D? Jane or D?
Jerry.
Mr. Derry.
Okay.
I have a question. I guess our concern is we signed a contract with your company in 2022. I would like to know the amount that our city has made on the sale of these properties over the past 4 years.
Yes. I submitted Mr. Ricky requested the check amount that we submitted, and it was over $19,000.
Over 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you just submitted a check amount. Did you submit like property addresses also?
Yes, ma'am. He did ask for property addresses and parcel numbers, and I did submit that information.
Okay, I don't think we've seen that. Okay, we hadn't seen that. Because that's our concern during the budget. We would like to know how much has gone to our general fund. So the process, when you get adjudicated property, can you go through that process?
Yes. So individuals initiate the sales process by submitting an application and deposit of the administrative fee, which is $1,000. Once they do that, we will request the redemption amount, which is how much is owed on the tax bill. And we also look at the current evaluation that's provided by the assessor's office to calculate 2/3 of the amount. The minimum bid is based off that tax bill versus taxes, the 2/3 valuation. So it's the lower of the two, either taxes owed or 2/3 of the assessed value.
So how do people go about finding out about the properties?
The assessor's office sells an adjudicated property list.
They sell it.
Yes, and that's one problem that I spoke with Mr. Ricky about, that has a slightly, or had, I will say, stagnant, because we respected that the assessor sells that list. We customize and consult for each municipality, and currently we handle the sales for over 20 municipalities statewide. So the assessor did not want us to publish the list on the website because they are currently selling it.
I have a question.
Wow.
I have a question. I go ahead.
No.
Okay. So,
J, D.
so I'm not sure that some are aware that sometimes if somebody sell a piece of property, that if you don't do your due diligence, then you can purchase that property with a lien on it. What do you guys do in that instance?
It's required by law that we thoroughly conduct a title search, and that is a part of the fee. We run a full title search, minimum 30+ years back, to identify all parties with a vested interest, any property owners, if it has a federal tax lien on it, if there's a mortgage on it. We identify those things and we conduct skip traces and we mail notices for them.
So before somebody acquire their property or purchase their property, then all the diligence prior to their process to be taken care of?
Yes.
Okay.
So, in other municipalities you deal with, do you put their sale tax, do you put it on your land for how much it costs instead of going through the?
So there is just a general master list of properties that are available. And we don't have the amount until someone initiates the sales process. So we have to request those figures upon receipt of an application.
So you don't have none on your website?
No, not for you all, because we
I'm
don't.
talking about for the other municipalities.
Okay, so for all the other municipalities, there is a general list, but it won't have amounts unless we have someone who is an interested purchaser and their property is actually going up for auction.
So is there any kind of way you can put that on?
Yes.
Okay.
Point of information.
Jay Ewing?
You stated that you don't have it on your website because they sell it where?
That's an assessor's office.
But that really is not part of the city of Bastrop. We do our own thing here, so we contract out with you guys. So I'm asking Attorney Jones and Mr. Smith to kind of get with you guys, because we don't care what they selling over there. This is our adjudicated property.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And when I spoke to Mr. Ricky, I did tell him about that issue, and he said that he was going to request a list. I followed up with the assessor's office to request a list just to see if they would give it to us. And she told me that the city had already requested the list and I would have to get it from you all.
I got one more question.
Yeah, we need.
So what we want to do is get, with you all's permission, we can get that information and we can feature those properties.
But you just said that you got a master list. Well, I think what the mayor saying, if you already got a master list, why can't you just post all the properties that the city has adjudicated?
He asked me in other municipalities, do we do that? And
No,
we
I'm saying, you don't have it for us. I'm asking you, can you start doing it for us also?
absolutely, with that information. If it's provided to us, we will feature the properties on our website for you all. Yes.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, the tax assessor's office, maybe 175, but these are all items within Morehouse Parish. So you'll have to actually, out of sense, of course, you have to go through the list.
And we can do that legwork.
Yeah.
Actually, what we did to kind of compensate for that when we initially jumped out is we had to do a whole bunch of thorough researching of the records to kind of like cherry pick some things to feature, to have that information. We're already on track this year to exceed the amount that had been submitted in the last 30 years.
Well, I got another point of information to the clerk of court. City clerk. Because when I was in code enforcement, all the adjudicated property was on my computer.
Yes.
For the city of Bastrop, everywhere. So why can't the city of Bastrop put it on our website, the adjudicated property that we have?
We can run a list. We can go to the system and run a list and provide it to, Ms. Farley, so she can put it on.
Okay, well, that's what I was getting at, because all I had to do was, and back to Councilman Green's question, said that the reason you were here was because of the property that was listed. That was not the problem. That wasn't the reason it was tabled. It was tabled because Mr. Smith and I had a conversation, and I was trying to,
We never said that. What are you talking?
yeah, you said something about the properties that was on last time. I'm saying the reason we had to table it last time because I spoke with Mr. Ricky, and he was supposed to get us information, not from you guys, but from the city. When I was asking about adjudicated property that we had and the amount that we had from the city, nobody could give me an answer. Not on your part, I'm talking about,
Yes,
this is in-house.
yes, sir. Well, if the list is provided to us, we would do the legwork for you. And also, I do want to add that, what he specifically requested did not include things that we had pending. It did not include redemptions or anything of that nature, just along within the last 60 days, we had 3 properties that were redeemed that totaled over 6331. So we're moving along. We have an influx of applications and the work that we're doing here is priceless.
I do have a question, point of information from Mr. Ricky and for you, Ms. Kim. Because I think that when Mr. Ricky and I talked, it was actually coming up with a plan to get our adjudicated property sold, because we was thinking about the best way to get them sold, because it created instead of a one-time payment, it created a payment over time, because whoever purchased that property had to pay the property tax each year, and that'd be revenue for the city.
Right, with the sales, it actually automatically does that.
So is there anything that if the city would like, the mayor and Mr. Ricky would like, I guess, to tweak something that's in the best interest of people that's want to inquire about adjudicated property, can we do so?
You absolutely can do so, but you will have to revise your ordinance, which we are eager to revise the ordinance because to comply with the new law. And we have sent that information over.
We, Mr. Jones and I, we kind of working on it. That's why I hadn't submitted anything in regards to this. So once we take it up, we'll give you all the information and I'll piecemeal it together. But we are looking at the change in the law, 47. So in due time, I mean, main thing is to do budget and first quarter next year, and so options to the council.
Councilman Doe?
Ms. Kimberly, thank you for coming. You just spoke about new laws. Is there, okay, what we have on the books now, can you state what maybe some of that is involving the new law? How it is in place now as opposed to what was changed from last year?
Well, I'd like to start by adding that we are not dealing with multi-million-dollar real estate. We're dealing with you all's problem properties that have been abandoned, blighted, and are a nuisance.
Right.
Currently. So to just sum it up in a nutshell, the type of interested purchasers that we are dealing with are your constituents who have issues as far as the grass grown up tall, rodents are everywhere, and we're getting applications from lot next door owners or individuals who actually grew up in Bastrop and moved away and they want to see it cleaned up. Right. To make the connection with your question, we're not getting a lot of investors who are trying to buy because they get non-warranty deeds, which means they can't leverage the property. With the new law, there is an alternative option outside of the non-warranty deed. They can actually foreclose on the property, and it's supposed to lead to clear and marketable title. And we have been promoting that, but no one in any municipality has done it yet because it costs a lot more money than the current process.
I have a question.
Council Lady Jack.
Okay, where are you advertising these properties? And then I missed that.
Where is it advertised? In the Washington Citizen.
So anytime a adjudicated property comes up, you advertising in
In the
Washington?
Washington Citizen, and it's listed on our website. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Council Lady Jack, but
Yes, I'm done.
Councilman Lott?
I know you said you're doing city adjudicated property. You have any parish adjudicated property in the city?
Absolutely. That's where most of the money came from that you all have received from the parish sales because we handle both.
Also, to piggyback on Ms. Angela, do they advertise adjudicated property or I think, because this is what you asked me, because I think once you.
Advertising.
We're required to make publications that's required by law.
That's when somebody acquired, somebody interested in it, right?
Right. Or we can easily, when I spoke about featuring, if you all are on board and you would like to proceed that way, we've been trying to approach it in a cost-effective manner because I don't know if you all are aware, the only cost that the city has is for the publications. So we literally can review the list and do all the notice work and make the publications, but the city would pay for those publications.
Yeah, I was asking about the advertising of the properties for the bid.
So, yes. But y'all was trying to tell you, like, some people that, what they do is they have purchased the list and they go through and they ride through Mohawk Parish and they pick out whichever property that they want. And at that moment, they contact EMP. Because EMP has to also publicize when somebody interested in it because they go up for a bid, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right, unless it's the lot next door owner. If they initiate the sales process, it does not go through the auction process. That is an incentive that we provide to kind of appeal to individuals who have actually been taking care of these properties in the community. Because I receive a lot of calls saying, I've been taking care of this property for over 20 plus years or more. Can the city pay me for the work? And we're like, no, but you can buy this property through the lot next door owner program. And the city's incentive is we won't allow anybody to register to bid against you. And that's how we're getting the properties sold as well.
Hold on, Councilor Devin.
I think that was the bulk of my question. You said once somebody's interested, then it's posted in the Washita Citizen and on your website.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But somebody has to be interested first.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
Councilor Jay Green. Councilor Locke.
How long has this law been in effect?
The new law, it went into effect January 1 of this year.
Anybody living next door?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought you were referencing the new act that I was talking about that we want to present to you all. We have been doing this lot next door owner program the entire time. And that is the most prominent purchaser, the lot next door owner purchase.
Finish, Councilman Block. Councilman Jay Green.
One other person. You stated that, I think what we want to get away from is having to purchase a list for adjudicated property. I think you say only way we get an actual list if you go over there, and they don't want you to do it because they actually making money off of it. But we are not making money off of it. They are getting the money for selling the list. But we also supposed to have this. That was my problem, because when I was inquiring about it, it seemed like your company was keeping up with the adjudicated property better than the city was. And when I was asking a question as pertaining to different properties, I didn't like them answers I would get. So it has nothing to do with you. We're just trying to streamline the process to make it better. It had nothing to do with your company. It's just when I was asking questions about, I was talking, am I right, Mr. G?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to look like it was your company. It was just, I was asking questions and we tried to make sure that our end match up with your end, what you're selling and versus what we get it and what you're selling. And then by just listening to your response earlier, talking about having a buy list, I think we need to get away from it, because if it's free and readily available, I think you'll have more participation.
Well, yes, sir, with the work that we're already doing, with the inquiries that we're getting, because we look into it just by, we get people who call just to say, I want to check on this and I want to check on that. So we dig into it and we find out that they are adjudicated, and that's what's actually propelling it forward. But Councilman Green, I already think we already have the answer. If he requested the list and you all say yes and send it to us, we will post everything that, the city has adjudicated, and I will also send notices out to the lot next door owners to let them know that they can move forward, so they can be aware of what's surrounding them.
But we have to pay for publication. I understand what you said, we sent to you, but if it's on our website, which we used to have some adjudicated property on our website a while back. I remember we had adjudicated property on website. So we can go back to actually putting it on there. When people see it, then they can contact you as to say, hey, I want property at such and such address. Because if we get you to publish it, we got to pay for the publication and all that other stuff. Versus we already got a mechanism in order to publish it, right? Because we used to do it all the time. I don't know what happened.
Well, not in that aspect of publication. When I speak on publication and you all paying those charges, that's when we're doing a sale. So we can post on our website, which is highly trafficked. Like, I'm getting a astronomical amount of calls daily regarding properties in Morehouse Parish in the city of Bedford. And we spend most of our time just educating, you know. So that's not the issue, but when it's actually sold, those ads that are required to be published by law, you all are paying for it.
Okay, well, just Ms. Darlene, Ms. Clark, if y'all will, make it happen.
Councilman Locke.
I'm done.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all for having me.
Councilman Doe,
You mentioned, or it has been mentioned, that there, if you get the list of all the adjudicated properties, you can post it on your website, right?
We will.
And so also, you're talking about ramping up something for the city as well too, right? Is there something already in place to do that? Or would you have to build the system?
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
I'm saying, but you don't have anything in place right now.
No, there was no, we will work on it.
Okay, and so you don't have anything in place to even publish the list, right?
No, we haven't refined the list that we got from, the tax assessor, because again, they had all properties. It's kind of balloon, so we just, again, this issue was on the list, but it got pushed down. But once we look into the revisions, the update, the ordinance, we're gonna give all the information that we have, so we'll have to piece it together. So that was always the plan, is once we update the ordinances during that process, you know, give you the information that we received, moving forward plans to, again, we can do this dual posting, publishing, maybe drive traffic more. So
I would also like to make a recommendation that what is very successful with other municipalities, you all can choose to publish the list or put our link on your website, because what that'll do is reduce costs to the city and we bear the burden. We're taking out the burden for everything. So we're doing everything that the assessor, answering calls for the assessor, tax collector. When someone calls our office, I don't like to pass the buck. One moment, let me find out. We'll take care of it for you. So we thrive on educating. So if you put the link on the website to our website, that eliminates the workload for you all, and we do what we need to do. Thank you all.
we get an order, motion to return to regular order.
A second, all in favor? Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, we are back in regular order on number 5.
Okay, we, 5, approve ordinance 26/4285. Number 5. To approve ordinance 26/4285. Mr. John, could you explain to the council, what this ordinance, change in occupation license?
So what ordinance 4285 does is it establishes that in addition to the proving that somebody has used their occupation license to commit crime, you can prove that they have violated the ordinances, which are commonly referred to as beautification ordinances. And they continue to do that in a manner that is in violation. And one of the steps we can use to bring them either into compliance or to penalize for it is to revoke their occupational license, which allows them to transact business within the city of Baxter. When we have to follow the procedure that is spelled out, the procedure is actually just a recodification of state law. It is some updates in it as to the specifics. Ours was adopted back in the 60s or 70s. And so it brings it up to modern day and allows us to take all that news possible, including using those what are called environmental beautification ordinances. If a business owner is going to allow their business to be in such a state that it violates those, then we can revoke it. If they want to have homes in such a state that are going to be in violation and nuisances to our other residents who have kept their properties up, then they can be, their occupational license can be subject to being taken. This is not much different than if you don't pay your taxes, they'll take your driver's license. They don't seem very connected, but it's a penalty. You don't get to enjoy the benefits of the city of Bastrop, its residents, while also being a nuisance to subject properties around you.
So does it have anything to do with the way the occupation like the steps, as in going to the fire department, code enforcement?
It has nothing to do with that. That process that was talked about, that's an administrative process. At the time that we had the occupational things, there was no administrative process. There was just a process by virtue of history.
So I can push. Hold
Now
on.
we have administrative process.
So, Mr. Jones, so you said that, I'm assuming the new change in the process of obtaining an occupation license was administration. So this administration wanted to change how we acquire occupational license.
No, what this administration did was actually put into place a document that would be, it's an administrative rule in his administration that in order for you to get that, you have to use this form.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm asking, I guess to address the elephant in the room that, the Purple Land received the occupation license in the way they went through is not the normal way.
It is not the normal way, but there was nothing in there that mandated that exists that way. The state law says one thing. So when you get pushed, as we got pushed to court, and that's where this was headed, we had to go by what it was. But this administration came back in and said, hey, I'm going to administratively put all that back in and direct the process for that is this way.
So I get that. Well, I guess what I was saying is, so that it's fair clarity that the administration wanted to change the process that how we normally done it.
They wanted to ensure that the process, how you normally done it, is the way that you could do it.
So you couldn't do it the way prior?
Not if somebody pushed, because there was nothing that required it. When they made their application, all it was just that was the formality of it. The only regulations that were in place at that time were the state regulations. We didn't have an administrative rule that said you had to do it, or an executive order.
Do we have a rule that we have to change it as well?
The rule is the state law says it's not required. And if you don't have an executive order in place, and state law is required.
This is a better question. So why do you think the prior way was put in place?
I asked him how did it, as I was trying to get to so you try to get to the heart of the question, what they did. Why is this being done that way?
Can I ask? Because the reason I'm asking because maybe the administration seen prior practice seen that it was efficient to do it that way, and so it's a change. So now I want to know from legal, what do you think was the reason why they done it that way? The reason why you feel the administration should do it differently?
So here's what I can tell you. I hunted it. I asked about why we did it that way. Because there was nothing in our ordinances or executive orders that required it to be done that way. So what happened is there was a period where there was either an establishment years ago, as I was told, and they got mad about how many people were at this location. They said, why did you issue the occupational license whenever they were going to have this kind of thing there that would overrun the occupancy? So the fire chief at that time, not this fire chief, demanded to be on it, and he wanted to review it. And then it became an issue of, well, if they're going to review it, then planning and zoning is going to review it. So what happened is it was just informally done, but nobody ever issued an executive order. So when that person came to make the application, the only thing standing there is what state law requires, which is what our code of ordinances says. So we didn't have anything at the time it was done. So if somebody push came to shove, we were making people do an extra step than we had on the books. Informally, we'd done it. We'd done it as a favor. But now that process that you were used to has been put into an executive order and put in place and mandated. We did not have a mandate at that time. It was just what they did. It was like we're making somebody do something extra than what we had the law required, the law or any executive order required.
So that was mandated. Is there any way that we get the mandate?
Correct. I think they have a, Mr. Smith has
I put it in your packet a while ago, you have got. I mean, I can submit, I can give you another.
You can send it to my email.
Yeah, I can send it.
Okay. We want to make sure that we do right by everybody. And whatever laws or ordinances, whatever executive orders that we're making, we want to make sure it's for the benefit of all of the citizens, be it business or just a resident. Are you saying that there was nothing in place other than state law, the system we had before the executive order, before this change? Because you have to have something in place to make a change to something. So, what was in the ordinance prior? Because I don't have it here with me. What was in the ordinance prior that wasn't working and that was causing us to make these changes? Because again, if there's some nuisances or whatever is going on out in the public sector, and we don't know about it, and it comes to City Hall, the information is not free flowing. And so again, I'm just completely wondering why the necessity for the change, because if you're talking about you've already put an executive order in place. And I understand that's administrative, but if you look at what the changes say, they mirror what the executive order is saying. So again, I'm asking what has happened out in the public sector to necessitate these changes.
Mr. Doty, I can answer that real easy.
Yes, sir.
Generally speaking, about on official reports, when we get to it, I can tell you, Councilperson Tappan, Councilperson Green, usually yourself, Councilperson Doty, you ask me, what are we doing to take care of these problem properties? I can tell you right now, 95% of the docket I have is tenant problems, landlords who have properties that are in disrepair. They don't show up. All they do is they come down here. So what we did is we did this so that you can have another avenue to go after those people and make them comply.
Okay, I got you on that. I follow you on that. But again, I'm asking if we've got landlords, businesses, or even just residents out there that are not complying with the law already on the books, how do we solve that by without making a change? It would seem to me that enforcement might be an issue in some of this as well.
Because currently you cannot enforce the fact that they do not follow your environmental beautification ordinances by going after their occupational life. You cannot do that right now.
We have about 20 of them in court and
You cannot do
might
it.
show.
So this gives us the ability to do that. If they proceed with continuing to transact, let's say you are a landlord who has houses, okay? My most common plaguing problem, various funds. Or let's say you have foreclosure homes and you're holding on to them. And you continue to let these properties go under. Oftentimes foreclosure homes, it's not them, it's actually just the management company. There's somebody local here who has taken a contract to manage those homes, who's Chase Bank, Berkshire Hathaway. I'll tell you right now, they're not coming down here and looking. But what they have is they have a local management company. Found that out through court. And that management company didn't show up and do anything, because the best thing is to get paid your money, not go do your work. So what happens is people who continue to do that, a management, those people can be stopped from transacting business here. Now I can go into court if they begin to transact business they haven't. They don't have an occupational license. I can get a TRO instantly from them, because as you learned sitting in court, the standard is Are you violating an ordinance? Yes, but currently I cannot get an ordinance. I cannot get a temporary restraining order through court because they will not clean up their properties or follow our beautification ordinances. The best I can do is have them come to environmental court and do it ourselves.
Will this ordinance be consistent?
You make the council.
So just real quickly. You just mentioned about, being able to take somebody to court, outside of the environmental court process. Right, okay, so if you run in the environmental court process, that's gonna be the first process, right?
We always give them the opportunity to show up to environmental. Because it's the most, it's consensual. We're trying to get, we're not trying to expend what you see in these budgets, all of our dollars on fixing something where somebody else can comply. We have parks, we have programs that we all want to seek to do with the youth here, ways to spend on our officers, rather than spending on somebody who refuses to either pick their trash up, clean their grass up, and make it the way it should be. It's be a good neighbor.
Lastly, excuse me. Lastly, I asked this, do you have a number of businesses or residential properties or whatever that are maybe in the court system or outside of the court system? Let's just say the ones that, do you have a number of people that you have taken to court or planning on taking to court, if that number is available?
If you're talking about court, if you're talking about environmental, court, we can't take people to regular court for violations of environmental
We
code.
can't do that right now according to what we have.
Because I can't, there's no way to issue a temporary restraining order to stop you from not growing your grass.
And you're saying we have nothing in the ordinance right now to accommodate that?
Court can stop you from doing
No,
something.
I'm just talking about the ordinance.
I have not, if you're going to court, you're going on a temporary restraining order for violation. I can ask the court through environmental court to ask you to comply. The law does not allow a temporary restraining order for violating beautification ordinances on its own. But if you get your license revoked, I can ask the court to stop you from being able to transact business. Environmental court is a hard concept to explain to people because it's very angry. It's very angry that you have to spend your tax dollars on this because somebody doesn't want to be a good neighbor. Even more angry when you have situations where people are making money and profiting off the dilapidated states of their homes that they're still renting out, while you have to expend dollars to do it. And so the remedy is never criminal with environmental because it's dealing with property. It's always civil. So you have to have multiple ways to hit them in their pocketbooks. They cannot make profits. If you cannot play by the rules, you should not be able to profit off the people who have to stare at your trash.
That's a lot.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones, usually you pay your occupational license when?
Your occupational license is paid annually. It's due by December, the end of December, and then I believe it's the end of December. And then by April, we send you notices. The tax collector sends you notice per our ordinance. In between March and April, there's a time period where you can come in, you can show some kind of hardship or something like that. The tax collector is very delineated out in the statute, and they have the ability to forgive the interest part of it and the penalty, but you still have to come clean. You have to show that you had some kind of bearing hardship. But after April, that time is set in stone, and then it continues forward.
The reason why I asked that question, those, first of all, it's just for businesses, not residential.
This is not residential.
If you're living next door,
This is not going to affect our residents. These are individual. What this will affect is the quality of life of people who live here in Bastrop and call this home and frequent businesses.
but, and my next question, if this ordinance, what we're trying to do tonight, when would it go into?
This would go into effect by operation. It goes into effect after it's published in the journal, after it would be adopted. Our charter requires that it go into the journal after it's adopted, and then we run it, but based on the face of it, it's effective immediately upon publication.
But I mean, those who have occupational license now and not adhering to the ordinance, that means that their license can be revoked.
I caution every one of them who has an occupational license at the moment you pass this and it's published, beware. You may not have appeared now, but we have a way to make it.
Point of information. So, see, I think we kind of getting things intertwined here. What we are talking about here is the ordinance. We talk about occupational license, revoking it, and we talk about the procedure. Issued it and revoking it. And now we tying the properties into it, because when I was in court over there listening, it's already a mechanism in place to revoke occupational license. You just have to, the judge said you have to give them.
You have to follow the steps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So actually, it's, if we want to revoke the occupational license, we still can, even if we don't pass this, because the judge said, you attorney, you know what he said, you got to give them a 30-day notice.
There's due process. There's several steps. It's spelled out in our ordinance. It follows state law. There doesn't need to be some updates. What you see, the little things in there, they're just text updates. They're not they're not substantive, but they're just little text updates that the state has adopted. But you have to give them notice. You send them notice of how they're violating, how they're using their occupational license in a way. You give them the ability to, you send it to them certified. They have the ability to come meet with the mayor. The mayor will address with them the violations that are listed. They have to be listed by date and by a specific violation. They have the right to remedy it. And then after such time, then they can ask for a hearing, or we can take it to a hearing, and it goes to a hearing in front of the council, and the council decides what relief they wish to take after hearing that person at the council.
Okay, I guess we're gonna say, I'm glad you clarified that, because we all, as you can see, we already got a way that we can revoke them. We just, only reason we couldn't revoke those occupational license because we put them on the agenda before due process.
Correct.
So we already got a way to doing it. And because I got a text reading, I'm asking you this. It says because, Lyra has been a nuisance.
I don't
didn't want to talk to you about this a couple years ago, about this ordinance. But what I'm saying, I don't want to get it misconflated. I feel what you're saying, that you got to have a way to, when you bring them into court, to do a restraining order. But it shouldn't be, I don't want it to look like that we was holding up somebody not passing this because we didn't have an occupational license. Because if we wanted to take somebody's occupational license, we can. It's just a process that's in place, and we failed to do the due process last time. So we already can give them and take them back. We just got to do it in a proper manner.
Yes, and that was the ruling from the court, that everything was good and valid with the ordinance that we had. We just did not follow what our ordinance was, which required that you can't throw it on a special meeting, no notice to them. They have to have all this notice, this delay time, which was the opinion from the get-go. But it was that matter was a very polarizing case where we were trying to gain what had occurred and everything. What we're doing, and it's the reason why when this came up and it was tabled back in February, I said, hey, we've got some time to do that, because we need to take these people through environmental court first to give them an avenue of due process. Look, it never hurts to have more due process. We saw what less due process gets us.
Well, that's what I'm just getting at. We didn't do it properly the first time, Mr. Jones, right?
Correct.
But they still got occupation license. If we still want to take them, we just got to give them due process, and then we go about it.
That's all the order says. If you read the order, it says until they follow the due process steps.
Okay.
If you follow the due process steps, you can still do it.
Okay.
So I do have a question now. Go ahead.
Okay, but I just didn't get it mixed up, because because I got text about adjudicated property. Mr. Lyle's been fixing ever since he
I don't,
acquired.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I can
I don't
explain
personalize one landlord tenant situation. I can tell you this much, I've seen it throughout the foreclosure properties, the management companies. I've seen it throughout endless amounts, more than probably a dozen business entities who just refuse to show up and do anything.
So, on the information there,
I find that in the city of Bastrop, it's not the residents. It's the companies that manage and own the property who have an issue with it.
okay, so being that I received the same text and Mr. Green and Jermaine, so we could have, if we would have did due process, did away with Laura's occupation license?
We could not do with his based on the fact that, not based on violating our beautification ordinances until you pass this ordinance. We would have to show that he committed some crime of the state of Louisiana or the crime of the United States of America. And that he's using his occupation in a way to commit a crime. This opens up the avenue that we need, which is to show that he's using his occupational license in violating that, a beautification ordinance or environmental issue. He's creating an environmental hazard.
So I guess with the ordinance, could it just have been to amend the occupation license? Oh, right.
It is good to revoke. I don't have anything about issuance in there.
But I'm saying it said revoke and procedures.
Because you have to have procedures when you revoke them. That's the title that came out of the ordinance. I just took it straight from there.
So maybe a point of information.
Jay Green?
Over the court, he said, you know, when he's talking about revoking, and you said, if he's in violation of different ordinances, which is dilapidated housing, which is, you know, if we come and condemn a house, that's a nuisance to the public, it's a danger.
It is.
So I'm saying that if we can prove that in its current form, we should still be able to give him a process to come up here because he actually owned a company that rents the houses out. So it's actually a company. It's not him, it's got LLC. So actually, if we can prove that he has dilapidated houses, he's a nuisance, he's violating city ordinance. And the court already, and if we can prove that and we give him due process, we still should be able, I'm talking about the current form, we still should be able to revoke his license.
Correct. And that was and we discussed this numerous times.
You don't have to go.
We discussed this numerous times. But the occupational statute for revocation, which we get it from the state, we mirror what the state says, the state gives it to us. It only allows for criminal law, Title 14, not ordinance. So he is violating our ordinances, but he's not violating what is a Title 14 crime. A revised statute, Title 14, like DWI, he's committing drug dealing, which is letting and abetting disorderly place. He's not violating what would be a Title 14 crime. We adopt Title 14 crimes in the city for misdemeanors. We adopt them in our ordinance and they cite the ordinance for those, but those are what, so it's a very narrow category that is in the state that's considered a crime. If you violate any of our ordinances, it's considered a crime. However, it has to be a criminal law crime. And so it is Title 14 violation. So you'd have to commit some allowing people to, if you could say that he was running, let's say you, for instance, Title 14 has cockfighting ring, chicken fight. If you'd allow that to occur on the property with his occupational license, you would be a violation of that. And that would be subject to this ordinance the way it currently is, not that. The amendment brings in what the state allowed 3 years ago, which was to put environmental issues as an avenue to revoke it. So currently, violating our environmental statutes or ordinances is criminal because any violation of an ordinance is up to $500 misdemeanor, 6 months in jail. However, it's not a criminal law crime because that, we just criminalized, it's not one that's recognized by the state as a criminal law violation. That's why. So we had to bring in the avenue of.
So littering is not a crime.
So littering is a crime, but littering falls into two categories. There's actually two of those. They fall into intentional littering and what is called gross littering. Intentional littering is a much more stringent misdemeanor, but both of which fall out of Title 14. They're not Title 14 cases.
Mr. Green, you done? You have any questions?
And intentional littering is you would have to show that in intentional littering or even in gross littering that you deposited the trash into some other person's property. So if you had a property that was so overflowing to the extent that yes, it flowed over into a neighbor's yard, you could probably show that he was using his occupational license allowing that to occur. Then yes, or any property management company was allowing that, then yes, you could do that. But that would be a rare scenario of people who do it. The more common is just the allowing the place to be in a disorderly state where it falls out of compliance with our code that requires certain standards for housing and the appearance of it and the appearance of the yard. But yeah, gross littering requires that the individual actually deposit into another's property or the public. Not on their property.
Mr. Doty was next.
The term beautification, which is one of the things that you propose changing, who would determine what beautification is?
So beautification is determined by a reformed Code Enforcement Act that was passed So beautification is a term that was used throughout our Reformed Code Act that was adopted in, I believe it was January of 2024. And it's used throughout that. That set of ordinances that was adopted is referred to back and forth. They refer to them, and it occurs throughout state or the state laws or our ordinances as environmental or beautification ordinances. Beautification meaning you have to keep to a certain standard of beauty.
Right. My question is, who would determine?
That's
Would that fall to the code enforcement?
That would fall to, that's where Code Enforcement Authority is, and that's that set of standards that we have. So those terms are actually specifically used by us.
Point of information, Mr. Jones, Attorney Jones. I'm trying to get some understanding because I'm baffled, because before we had environmental court, before we had environmental court, it went to regular court, to Mr. Philip Lester's court. Environmental person took him in there, and he wasn't acting on them, he was charging them under regular, because he was a regular judge, he was charging them with regular crimes, and it wasn't an environmental court. He was regular court. You remember before Mr. Pierre took over as environmental judge, it went to a regular criminal court, regular judge.
And I remember at the time, and I will tell you this, I remember a little bit about that because it came over, we had several cases that when they got onto the property, at that time I was in the district attorney's office here in Morehouse Parish. We had several cases where they went onto the properties and subsequently discovered that there was drugs or some other activity. And so that charge would end up with us in district court. I believe it was keeping or letting a disorderly place is often what they used. It is in Title 14. That is a very arcane statute that requires that you show somebody allows their property to be used for gambling, for illegal activity and things like that. It's a lot less than what it sounds by title. The heart of it. How they used it here in city court, I wasn't here at that time. I can't say what the nature of the charge is.
He wasn't saying nothing about environmental court. He was telling you violate the statute, such and such a criminal statute, you hereby being fined.
Yeah, and it was always, if I remember, and I do recall that.
And it was and that man had 80-some people in every other month.
I can't attest to, I was not the prosecutor there, nor was I the defense attorney there, but I was the prosecutor in district court. Occasionally those cases came over. We never went forward with those keeping or letting a disorderly place charges because in our mindset, it was a stretch to say that you had your place let in such a way that it fell out of favor with what the beautification was. It didn't meet the Title 14 state statute.
That's when you let the DA off. I guess you set the bar high, whatever. Over here, Mr. Phillip, he did, them 4 cases you had over there, what about them party he had over here? He fired. Because they violated the city statute.
Well, I can tell you this much, any case that comes before them now applies specifically and has a criminal penalty, but it's not a Title 14 recognized state crime. It is a state-created crime. And in order for you to revoke an occupational license, you have to, based on criminal conduct, it has to be a Title 14 crime that they did, or a Title 40, which is where you get your drug categories from. Other than that, it has to be one of those two. It is criminal though. You can send those cases to environmental court now. You can send them based, all those ordinances we passed, all those requirements, they all have a penalty that in addition to environmental court, they can go to regular city court and be fined up to $500. Yeah. It's just an odd thing that Title 14, the state controls what the definition of crime is there when it's a city crime, but it's not a state crime.
We'll finish this discussion.
But all this simply does is give us more options. It doesn't limit us. It does not modify anything. It just gives us more options.
All right. I'll call for a vote on ordinance to reapprove ordinance 26. I get a motion,
Make that motion.
I get a second.
I second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Angela Templeton, District A.
Yes.
Mr. Henry Doty, District B.
No.
Mr. James Green, District C.
No.
Mr. Derek Green, District D. Mr. Howard Law, District E.
Yes.
What is that? You said yes? Yes, 2 yeses and a no. 2 yeses and a no
What had,
on the roll call.
it had
3
3
yeses and a no.
3 yeses.
Who said
Let's go roll call. Roll call.
Mr. Green. Because the mayor can't break the tie because it's still got 5 people present.
Take a break till we get Councilman D. Green.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should have waited and the whole thing.
Reconsider the vote.
You'll make a,
You don't need to.
you gonna do it?
You need a recess.
Okay.
You can announce a recess.
Motion for recess,
I make that motion.
second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
They're gonna come back and read the procedure.
That's why I stepped out.
I make a motion that we reconvene the meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I'm gonna ask for we table, 5, 7, 8. 5, 7, and 8.
I make a
Motion.
motion that we table item 5, item 7, and item 8 on the agenda.
Motion.
All in favor? We need a date and time,
In the whole.
to resume the meeting or,
In the
I
whole.
think we need to say, y'all need to set a date and time.
It's Monday, the 22nd at 6. Good with y'all? Monday, the 22nd at 6.
Okay.
Y'all do 5:30? 5:30 again?
Okay, I'm gonna make an entire new motion.
Yes.
I need to make a motion that we reschedule and table these items 5, 7, and 8 and reconvene at another meeting in 1 week on June the 21st. Is that right?
She said
ma'am?
22nd.
The 22nd, June 22nd at 5:30.
All in favor?
Aye,
And opposed? I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please adjourn.